Welcome to Racing Legends Volume 4. I'm Tim Flock. I hope you have enjoyed all of these collector films as much as I have enjoyed bringing them to you. Keep in mind, we still have volumes 1, 2, and 3 in stock and ready to ship. Now get ready for 2 more action-packed features from Darlington.
They call it a driver's track. A mile and 3/8 of slick asphalt that separates the good drivers from the great ones. The name of this race is the Southern 500. The track is Darlington. Every driver on the NASCAR circuit is a little afraid of running here. At Darlington, they claim there are 43 other cars to beat and the racetrack. Every driver and every mechanic has a story to tell of lost victories and battered hopes and how the track has beaten them. But year after year, they challenge it again, refusing to accept the defeats and the heartbreak. Early in the race, Tiny Lund blows an engine. A few seconds later, his car is wrecked. But Tiny won't quit. Soon, he's back at the pit wall, looking for a relief ride. Another chance at Darlington. Mechanic Ray Fox has won at every big stock car track except Darlington. Only this track has beaten him. Richard Petty is NASCAR's national champion, as his father was before him. But neither has ever beaten the track at Darlington. The track seems almost alive as it outguesses the men who challenge it. It's tougher for driver or mechanic than any other track in the country. There's only one thing tougher than racing at Darlington. That's walking when your car has gone out. This race is called the Southern 500. The track is Darlington. It's a driver's track, but you've got to have a car that will run. If you can't go 134 miles an hour, you're just here for the ride. The top mechanics know this. They've already spent weeks, maybe months, preparing the car. Now, with the race less than a week away, it's a matter of adjustment. 10,000 adjustments. Racing used to be a simple thing. Take off the hubcaps, paint a number on the door, let's go. Now it takes a crew, equipment, an experienced mechanic, and months of work to build the most powerful racing cars in the world. When the mechanics are done, 44 comfortable production cars are leaned and toughened for battle. Along with speed, they must also build in durability and safety for the driver. Special equipment in every car is designed for this. Steering wheels are padded for safety and a better grip. The roll bar near the driver's head is padded too. The roll bar does more than keep the roof off the driver if he flips. It's become a cage inside the body shell that keeps the car rigid at high speed and provides protection from any angle if the car is rammed. There's only one seat, contour fitted to each driver and equipped with a heavy-duty seat belt. Airplane-type shoulder harnesses are used by most drivers. Everything else that might burn has been ripped out, and there's a portable fire extinguisher in every car. The only upholstery is an asbestos floor mat. In the right front corner of the floorboard, there's a small trap door. At high speeds, the driver opens it to check tire wear. Headlights are removed, and so are side windows. Even the chrome strips are replaced by metallic tapes. They use oversized tires on reinforced rims. The rubber compound and tread are specially designed to withstand racing stress and provide safety. Exhausts, straight out the side, have no mufflers. There's a 4-speed transmission. The only thing the mechanics haven't improved is the key, and they're working on that. When the adjustments are done, it's time to qualify. The fans have come to see four-lap official runs, a battle against the clock for best starting positions. Richard Petty in a Plymouth waits for his chance against the track record of 133.8 miles an hour. A warm-up lap, and Petty is on his run. As Petty battles the electric timers, Dave Pearson settles himself in his Dodge. The doors are welded shut, another safety feature. Here comes Petty. And there he goes with a new one-lap record, 137.2 miles an hour. Petty's four-lap average is 136.8 miles an hour, almost 60 miles an hour faster than the first qualification record set here in 1950. Pearson's qualifying. His speed, 135.9, is only a fraction of a second under Petty. Pearson's Dodge also smashes last year's record. Fred Lorenzen wheels his Ford to the line. Until Petty's run, he owned the track record. Lorenzen's a money driver who wants to start the race near the front. He's on his run as his mechanic, Herb Nabb, watches. One look at Herb's face tells everything. Lorenzen's 1 mile an hour too slow. One driver after another sets out on the lonely run against the track. One driver after another flashes past the electric eye at speeds that make this the fastest field ever to compete at the Darlington Speedway. When a car is qualified, the engine is pulled, a fresh one installed. These engines have nothing to drive but the wheels. No radio, no air conditioner, no accessories. All the horsepower goes into the battle against the track. Even Richard Petty's record-breaking car gets a new engine. Richard's father, Lee Petty, three-time national champion in his driver days, heads his son's crew. Meanwhile, the last few cars take the checkered flag. Then the track is closed until the race. This, too, is part of the Darlington magic, a parade to ease the tension that builds through the long weekend before the race. This is Darlington's way of saying, we're a quiet farming town, a county seat, but once a year we turn out in fancy dress. Here we are, Darlington says, not long removed from mules and red clay. But Labor Day weekend, we're the capital of the auto racing world. What's Le Mans, or Monza, or Monte Carlo? Nothing compared to Darlington when the stock cars run. We put on quite a show for a town of 6,000. We try to make it fun for everyone, and almost do. And tonight, we'll turn to another Darlington tradition. We'll honor beauty as we honor speed. A new queen will be chosen, a new Miss Southern 500. For one of these South Carolina girls, this will be a step into the full light of publicity and picture taking for the coming year. For the rest, a return to the shadows. Nobody remembers the girl who was runner-up. That's why the brief moment in the light is so important. They try to hide their fears, but the tension remains. This moment may be the high water mark of their lives, or just the beginning of fame. When the judging has been done, and the 30 reduced to a dozen, these few appear again in evening gowns and a final judging. the girls are called back to the stage as the winner is named. Miss Sherry Sellers of Darlington becomes Miss Southern 500. This is the first time in the 12-year history of this pageant that a Darlington girl has been selected queen. Sherry doesn't know whether to laugh or cry as she accepts her royal crown. And a moment later, the first of many gifts, a mink stole. Then, as Sherry Sellers, now Miss Southern 500, walks toward her audience, a frightened girl suddenly becomes a beauty queen. With Miss Southern 500 chosen, there's nothing more to do but gather the crowd and run the race. This is another part of the Darlington magic, the giant crowd that turns a sports event into a spectacle. 65,000 people have gathered from 50 states to cheer these words. Gentlemen, start your engines. "44 cars, the fastest stock cars in the world, ease away from the starting line on the main straightaway to begin a slow parade lap around this 1 3/8 track. Then the green flag will send them off to a flying start. 19 Ford, 6 Dodge, 5 Plymouth, 5 Chevrolet, 4 Mercury, 3 Pontiac, 2 Chrysler. In all, 7 makes of cars are running here. The Darlington track is high banked through turns 1 and 2, flat on turns 3 and 4. No matter how it's adjusted, a car will have trouble one place or the other. That's why Darlington is called a driver's track. Leading the pack, first row outside, a position earned with highest qualification speed, Richard Petty in Plymouth 43. Next to him, David Pearson, Dodge number 6, second fastest. In the second row, Jim Pascal, Plymouth number 41. Fred Lorenzen, Ford 28. In the third row, Jimmy Pardue, Plymouth 54. And Buck Baker, Dodge number 3. There are 3 former winners in the starting field. Nelson Stacy, Larry Frank, Buck Baker. Baker, driving Dodge number 3, won in 1953 and 1960. They're coming to the starting line in perfect formation. The race is on. Richard Petty takes the lead. Accident in the first turn. Darrell Derringer's Mercury loops into the infield and recovers. Ned Jarrett's Ford also spins on the infield apron. The track is clear, no damage, and the race goes on. Richard Petty holds first place. Jim Pascal, his teammate, is second. David Pearson third. Buck Baker fourth. Darrell Derringer spins again. Hurrying to make up lost time, he slides through the third turn. There goes Pearson, moving his number 6 Dodge from third to second place. The leaders are sweeping past the slowest cars in the field. Pearson is charging. He's closing in on Richard Petty. There's Buck Baker, Dodge number 3, trying for third position. He's passing Jim Pascal. Don Hume's Ford slams the wall on the backstretch. The yellow flag warns all drivers to slow down, remain in position until the track is cleared. They're racing again with Richard Petty still leading David Pearson. More trouble. Tiny Lund's Ford skates down the main straightaway as Lund fights the wheel, trying to keep that 4,000-pound automobile between the walls. He's under control now, slowly moving toward his pit, located on the backstretch. Right behind him, Bobby John's Ford is moving fast. They've hooked bumpers. Both cars are straddling the fast groove. The yellow flag warns drivers of trouble on the backstretch, but even under caution rules, these cars are traveling more than 100 miles an hour. An emergency truck pries the cars apart. Both Fords are still able to run. The green flag signals high speed as Bobby Johns limps into his pit for some fast body work. One minute later, Johns is ready to go, but he's just along for the ride now. There's no chance of winning, not as long as Petty and Dave Pearson are running 135 miles per hour. David Pearson, after riding Petty's bumper for 50 miles, stands on the throttle. Pearson's Dodge leads the race. Petty waits his chance, studying Pearson's driving style. Then, as they hit the main straightaway, catches Pearson. Richard Petty's Plymouth leads again. Pearson is second. Jimmy Pardue, Plymouth 54, is third. Buck Baker, Dodge number 3, is fourth. Darrell Derringer's Mercury tangles with Cale Yarborough's Ford. This is the third ride on the merry-go-round for Derringer this afternoon. At the 100-mile mark, Dave Pearson eases into his pit for fuel and fresh tires. His crew discover broken wheel lugs, and Pearson sits helplessly as Richard Petty and Jimmy Pardue square off for one of the greatest speed battles ever seen on this or any racetrack. Right behind the leaders, Buck Baker, the old pro, driving Dodge number 3, matches their pace but stays out of trouble. Baker, a two-time winner, has more than 6,000 miles of racing experience on this track. There's a wild mix-up involving 5 cars on the second turn. Junior Johnson's Ford is rammed from behind by number 45, driven by rookie Bud Moore. There's Darrell Derringer, one of the first cars to spin, limping around the track and out of the race. Johnson's out of his car. He seems all right. So is Bud Moore. He's shaken up, but not injured. Johnson's safe and disgusted. His Ford is a total washout. Fred Lorenzen, also caught in the 5-car pileup, makes it to the pits with an overheated engine. His radiator was damaged when he ran into Bobby Isaacs, and it looks like he's out of the race. Lorenzen's a front runner and hates to lose more than any other driver on the stock car circuit. At the halfway point, the track has taken its toll. 20 cars have gone out, almost half the starting field of 44. The track is like some giant grindstone, wearing away men and metal with equal unconcern. In past races at Darlington, more cars have failed than finished. Some of the best drivers in the world have watched this race from the pit wall. Those that are still running, like Jimmy Pardue, are tearing up the racetrack, forcing their cars to higher and higher lap speeds. The pressure from the front runners makes the second 250 miles no easier than the first. If anything snaps, bends, breaks, overheats, shakes loose, or wears out, it's all over. Leroy Yarborough, running 6th, learns this the hard way. After 400 miles of racing, Jimmy Pardue has the lead with Richard Petty challenging on every straightaway. Both drivers punishing their cars in the bid for first place. In third position, half a lap behind the front runners, Buck Baker moves his Dodge smoothly and relentlessly. Baker's pre-race strategy called for a steady 135 miles an hour. Pardue takes the lead coming off the backstretch. There's no room to pass on turns 3 and 4. Petty waits for the straightaway. Richard Petty takes first place. Pardue holds second. Buck Baker is smooth and steady in third place. With less than 100 miles to go, Pardue dives into the pits to refuel for the last time. All the leaders will have to stop once more before the checkered flag. The hood is up as the mechanics check the engine. Pardue wants to race. It takes 100 miles of hard driving to pick up 10 seconds lost in the pits. At last, Pardue is on his way. Wait a minute. A NASCAR pit inspector is holding him back. The right front wheel is held by only 2 lug bolts. The others were sheared off when Pardue brushed the wall. The entire wheel hub must be replaced before Pardue will be allowed to race again. Richard Petty keeps his foot down, turning laps at record speed. Lee Petty signals that the pressure is off. Buck Baker, now in second position, closes in behind fourth place Jim Paschal, driving Plymouth 41. Both Baker and Paschal are veterans of all 15 Southern 500s. There goes Baker, now a full lap ahead of Paschal. Jimmy Pardue also passes, but after losing 6 laps in the pits, Pardue is no longer a threat. Roy Tyner's Chevy loses its transmission in the third turn, and without power, Tyner can't control the car. Right behind him, David Pearson and Major Melton slam into each other as they slow down, trying to avoid Tyner. Tyner makes it to the pits and out of the race. It's a tough break for Dave Pearson. He's charged back to 6th position after a long pit stop early in the race. Pearson and Melton, a rookie, are out of their cars. Nobody hurt. When the track is cleared, Petty is still the leader, a lap ahead of Buck Baker. But there's something wrong with Petty's car. Baker is flying. Petty's in the pits. A hand signal shows something is wrong. As Petty stops, the mechanic dives into the car. There goes Baker, 1 lap, 35 seconds away from first place. Petty is calling for ignition wire. Petty has 20 seconds to get out of the pits. There's nothing he can do but wait while the mechanic works under the dash. Petty's mechanic goes out the window head first as Baker comes onto the main straightaway. Buck Baker, Dodge number 3, takes the lead. The man responsible for the engines on all Petty cars is Morris, Richard's brother. We burned an ignition wire, he said. A little old $20,000 wire. Ray Fox, Baker's mechanic, doesn't quite dare smile. Leroy Yarbrough, Baker's teammate, stands by as relief driver, just in case. Baker is told to slow down and take it easy. Using his 20 years' experience behind the wheel, Baker moves out of the way as Richard Petty, now running third, storms back from his long pit stop. Jim Paschal, Petty's teammate, is in second place. Ray Fox doesn't dare breathe as Baker, running smooth as ever, moves up to take the white flag, signaling 1 lap to go. Ray Fox cars have won on every big track on the NASCAR circuit, except Darlington. This must be the longest 35 seconds in his life. There's the checkered flag. Buck Baker wins the Southern 500 for the 3rd time. Buck Baker wheels his Dodge number 3 to the winner's circle where he's been twice before. Baker has completed 6,599 miles in competition, more than any other driver in Darlington history. Only Baker and Jim Paschal, who finished second, have raced in all 15 Southern 500s. Baker, a 45-year-old grandfather, has been racing almost 20 years and has earned a nickname worthy of his skill, the Old Pro. As Baker's congratulated by Bob Colvin, president of the Darlington Raceway, Richard Petty rolls into the pits. Petty finished third behind his teammate Jim Paschal. The winner's share of the $100,000 purse is almost $25,000, making this the richest of all Southern 500s. This is a very special victory for Ray Fox, mastermind of his Dodge team. Fox is the first mechanic to have won a big race on each of the 4 NASCAR superspeedways. Buck Baker's wife, Betty, a girl he met while she was a contestant, and he a judge in the Miss Southern 500 Beauty Contest, joins the celebration. By an earlier marriage, Buck has a grown son, Buddy, also a race driver. Well, for a tired old grandpa, Buck takes more than usual interest in Miss Southern 500. Baker accepts the congratulations of Tony Webner, manager of racing for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Baker's average speed, held down by slow running under the caution signal, is 117.7 miles an hour, although he turned some laps at better than 135. Buck Baker, the flying granddaddy of stock car racing, has taken the big prize at the granddaddy of all stock car racing tracks, Darlington.
Darlington is the fastest stock car track in the world. Men have made it that way. Their search for new horizons in speed has a proud and exciting history. The year 1953 marked the first time that fans from 48 states came to Darlington for what promised to be the greatest stock car auto race ever run. 36,000 packed the giant raceway that year to watch as men answered the question, how fast must I go to win? What price must I pay for triumph? When the dust settled, Buck Baker had brought home a winner at a speed 15 miles per hour faster than any previous record. This is the challenge of competition, the challenge that makes the most of men and cars. Records stand only to be broken. And in 1955, the fastest field ever assembled for a Southern 500 started a race that 55,000 fans would never forget. Crowd in stock car auto racing history watched the greatest show south of the Mason-Dixon line. And for the 5th consecutive year, no one was even scratched. Through the years, stock car auto racing has made the American automobile safer, faster, and more dependable. Stock car racing had been America's greatest automotive proving ground. And in 1956, almost 70,000 racing fans gathered to see a show which has grown faster than any other in America. The fans saw another spectacular. The average speed for 500 miles, a blistering 95 miles per hour. How much faster could they go? A year later, in 1957, the records were again broken. The speed for a single lap had been pushed to 119 miles per hour. And on race day, a record-breaking crowd watched a record-breaking field begin a contest that had become known as the World Series of stock car racing. The faster you go, the tougher it is. You pay for every mile an hour. Pay in mechanics' sweat and drivers' chill. This is part of the challenge of competition, part of the challenge of racing. Speedy Thompson flashed across the finish line, and a dream came true. For the first time, an American stock passenger automobile had raced 500 miles at an average speed, better than 100 miles an hour. A new year, and again Darlington holds out a challenge. This has become a famous track, famous because of the men who've raced it, the record set and broken. And for this once-a-year event, the greatest crowd ever to see a stock car race moves into Darlington 24 hours a day. It's carnival time in Carolina. Makes a quiet South Carolina town of 6,000 with 100,000 visiting race fans, and there are the fixins for a week-long celebration. The day before the race, the quietest place in Darlington is the track. Practice and qualifications are over. Mechanics build and rebuild for the 500 miles ahead. These men take stock passenger automobiles, dismantle chassis and engine, then rebuild within the specifications of the National Association for Stock Cars. The men who ready these automobiles have the know-how to prepare a machine with enough speed, roadability, and endurance to race the toughest 500 miles in the country. Part of this know-how is choosing the fuels and accessories that can do the job. NASCAR inspectors certify that every part is stock and available to the general public. Then it's up to the mechanics to select the one that can meet the toughest challenge of all. But the night before race day, all eyes are on another kind of performance. And the emphasis seems to be on streamlining. 50 of South Carolina's most beautiful belles are here to compete for the title of Miss Southern 500. A record crowd of 12,000 is on hand to help the judges select the queen of the race. Southern 500 winner Curtis Turner finds a judge's decision gets harder with every contestant. Judge Jim Arness, TV's Marshal Nat Dillon, spots the makings of a winner, and the crowd seemed to agree with him, too. This Royal Crown Cola, selected as one of the judges, is a beauty in her own right. All 50 contestants line the stage for the last time as the decisions of the judges are being scored. And there's the winner, 18-year-old Judy Austin from Sumter, South Carolina. Miss Southern 500 receives the victory bouquet and a kiss from Mr. Marshall Dillon himself. Here's the queen of the day, and the day is coming. Race day, and Miss Southern 500 leads the procession in the pre-race festivities. The grandstands this year hold 80,000, more fans than ever before. Police estimate that 125,000 people have poured into Darlington, and today, the gates to the raceway are jammed with eager spectators. The South Carolina Championship bands, parading on the front straightaway, sound out a Southern welcome. The password on race day at Darlington is, "Y'all come." The faces in the grandstand and infield are the faces of all America. The cars are rolled to the starting line, and once more, another page in the history of a great raceway is written. At the pole position, Ed Pagan in number 45, fastest qualifier of the first day. In the center of the first row, Fireball Roberts, number 22, fastest qualifier of the entire field. Outside front row, Joe Weatherly, number 12, teammate of former winner Curtis Turner, pilot of number 26. NASCAR national champion Buck Baker. Speedy Thompson, winner here a year ago in number 46. The parade lap begins. Once around the mile and 3/8 track to gather speed for the flying start. The next time they come past this starting line, they will be traveling better than 100 miles an hour. These men and machines are not alone. They are carrying with them the hopes and dreams of mechanics and drivers who have challenged the Darlington Raceway through the years. This race, this 500-mile classic, has grown because men have always searched for the faster way around. They move into the first turn, the greatest assembly of stock car auto racing equipment ever to compete in a Southern 500. Now, through the second turn, and heading down the long backstretch. Half the pits have been placed here to give the fans in both grandstands a view of the split-second mechanical work. Into the third turn, wheeling toward the start. Cars, accessories, parts, fuels, and lubricants will all be tested in the toughest public proving ground in America. A year's wear and tear is packed into a single afternoon. The fourth turn. Here they come. They're off. Coming off the first turn, Joe Weatherly, number 12 Ford, booms into the lead. It's Weatherly in front and building his lead as the pack moves through the second turn into the backstretch. Pagan and number 45 challenges in the third turn. This is going to be a race. The crowd is on its feet as Pagan's number 45 makes a bid. Pagan's Ford grabs the lead as the field strings out, pacing themselves for the long grind ahead. Speed for the first lap is 115 miles an hour. On the backstretch, Pagan hits 120 miles an hour, but Weatherly's Ford stays in there, and moving through the fourth turn, he moves next to the leader. On the front stretch, he's fender to fender with Pagan as they overtake slower cars already one lap behind. Weatherly takes back the lead. Look at that boy run. Uh-oh, car in trouble. Don Kibberling in number 60 smashes a guardrail and spins off the high bank first turn. Fire on the track. The yellow flag warns other drivers as flame creeps along a trail of gasoline spilling from the ruptured fuel tank. Fire's under control, and safety crews work to clean the track surface of oil and fuel. The green flag again signals high speed, but the first 20 laps have been too much for some cars. A 340 horsepower Dodge with Ken Rush at the wheel is out with a blown head gasket. Pagan has put the pressure on Weatherly, and coming down the main straightaway, he noses ahead. Look at those boys race. Turner in number 26 pours on the coal in third place, with Joe Eubanks in number 6 right behind him in fourth. A car through the rail in the first turn. It's Pagan. Pagan blew a tire, smashed through the guardrail, and rolled down the 40-foot embankment. Signals from the safety crews slowed the race. Pagan's car rolled end over end after blasting through the heavy steel retaining fence, yet Pagan is unhurt. Number 45 is ready for the junk pile after a mishap at 115 miles an hour. With the field slowed by the caution flag, Joe Weatherly in number 12 gives up first place as he pits for fuel and a precautionary tire change. His crew wants to get him out again before teammate Turner, running second, can take the lead. There's the green, and Turner's number 26 comes storming onto the fourth turn to take first place. Weatherly gets away from the pits in a hurry. With 350 miles to go, it's still anybody's race. On the backstretch, Fireball Roberts eases into the pits for fuel and fresh tires. His smooth, fast pace has kept him in third place. The fastest qualifier of all 48 starters, he has kept within striking distance of the leaders without straining his car. Curtis Turner, winner in 1956, is burning up the track at 120 miles an hour. Fireball Roberts, charging back from his pit stop, turns the track at a steady 43.5 seconds, 113 miles an hour. But that's more than some cars can do. 20 feet of guardrail disappear in a cloud of dust as Eddie Gray loses control in the first turn. He's all right. Auto racing safety equipment kept him from injury. Joe Weatherly, in number 12 Ford, pits for the second time within 100 miles. His car isn't mechanical difficulty, would pull both front-running team cars to the pits in the same lap. Weatherly's number 12 gets away, but his car still doesn't seem to be running right. Turner is impatient to be on his way, but the mechanics haven't found the trouble in his engine. There's the green flag. Time becomes even more precious now. And there goes Fireball Roberts, moving into second place. Weatherly is still leading, but Roberts is only a half a lap behind and making a bid. Suddenly, 2 tons of automobile traveling 115 miles an hour disappears from sight. An oil slick on the first turn and a missing guardrail torn out in a previous accident was a combination Jack Smith couldn't handle. Although number 47 is completely wrecked, the driver walked away. The hours of competition that make new cars old in a single afternoon are taking their toll. Less spectacular is the ordinary wear and tear of competition. Curtis Turner limps to the pit, his engine failing. Turner is a hard man with an automobile, demanding peak performance and a little more for the full 500 miles. Turner is out of the race. Fireball Roberts in second place is pushing Weatherly to a showdown. Roberts has boosted his lap speed to 118 miles an hour. Weatherly into the pits again. Does he need fuel or is it trouble? His hood is up. Roberts' pressure plus Weatherly's early laps at 120 miles an hour have been too much for the automobile. As Weatherly's pit crew worked frantically to locate the trouble, Roberts in number 22 picks up a full lap lead. Weatherly is out of the race. For some contenders, there are months of work and effort lost. Right on schedule, Roberts comes through the first turn like a familiar freight train. He's more than a full lap ahead of the competition and setting his throttle for a new 500-mile record. Battling for second place now is Junior Johnson in number 11 and Shorty Rollins in number 99. Their race isn't over. Buck Baker, former national champion and a smooth driver, eases into second place. Baker plays it safe and waits out the competition. Fireball Roberts has victory in sight. He stands on the throttle in the high bank groove. His average speed for the distance is almost 102 miles an hour. The white flag. 363 laps down and 1 to go. That's the end of the race for Herman Bean. This pit stop is the last one today, and one the fans will long remember. Roberts is wheeling through the last mile smoothly and steadily. After 4.5 hours of racing, his car is almost a year old. Fireball Roberts in a Chevrolet wins the Southern 500. stops at his pit to share the winner's glory with his crew, the men that helped make it all possible. On to the winner's circle. Fireball Roberts, last year voted NASCAR's most popular driver, is one of the 5 men who have competed in every Southern 500. He was only 20 years old when he made his start on this track and finished second. Roberts' purse is more than $13,000, the largest slice of the largest purse ever offered in stock car auto racing. His average speed for 500 miles is a new record, better than 102 miles an hour. For 500 miles, Fireball Roberts walked the tightrope. He pushed his car and himself to the ragged edge of endurance, but never beyond. As Roberts entered the winner's circle, the mechanics and drivers of other cars were already at work, correcting the mechanical failures that can be discovered only at high speed. New standards of mechanical performance, new standards of safety are set in every race. Despite accidents and high speed, no one was injured. The safety of the American automobile has been proven again. Roberts has answered for himself the challenge of the Darlington Raceway. He has set new records which will be tomorrow's challenge for all other drivers. He has proven again that Darlington is the fastest stock car racing track in America because men have made it that way. Men who have found the faster way.